watching the art, the artistry. It was breathtaking. It was breathtaking.
Beautiful. It was.
The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Tiffany, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And I wish we could do it on a bipartisan basis, but they just can't do it.
And the decrease in numbers speak for themselves. Thank you for your work.
Gentleman's time is...
Mr. Chairman, we have some UCs, if that's okay.
That is okay.
Mr. Cohen.
Thank you. You see on the National Institute of Justice's study on undocumented immigrants having an offender rate lower than U.S.-born citizens. I'd like to enter this in the record from 2024.
Without objection.
And I have several myself, Mr. Chairman. The Guardian, January 26, 2026, why is Trump granting clemency to convicted fraudsters?
Objection.
January 20, 2026, NBC, Trump's pardons forgive financial crimes that came with hundreds of millions of dollars in punishment.
Objection.
Washington Post, December 19, 2025, Trump's pardons wipe out payments to defrauded victims.
Without objection.
And finally, May 30th, 2024, Trump found guilty by Manhattan jury on 34 felony counts of fraud.
Without objection. The gentleman from Illinois is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Attorney General Bondi, glad you finally made it here after hiding for 4 months from this committee. I understand why you're hiding from us.
Chairman?
You're one of the worst attorney generals in our history and an instrument of Donald Trump's lawless authoritarian agenda, and I'm glad the American people are seeing who you are, how you act, and the lack of good values. You weaponize the Department of Justice to target immigrants, working families, and anyone that Trump deems an enemy of the state, all to protect real powerful criminals, including in your administration. My Democratic colleagues have focused on your cover-up of the Epstein files and your passion for protecting pedophiles and child traffickers. That alone is grounds for impeachment. But there's so much more to your corrupt tenure as Attorney General. You directed prosecutors to investigate elected officials in welcoming jurisdictions, and you got thrown out of court when you sued Chicago, Cook County, and Illinois. You directed prosecutors to prioritize low-level immigration cases while gutting enforcement against corporate criminals and public corruption. You revived draconian law of 1798, which should be repealed to illegally send people to a torture prison in El Salvador. You fired over 100 immigration judges, including the assistant chief immigration judge in Chicago, without cause.
And the Sims.
You installed unqualified military judges whom you instructed to deny asylum in violation of the law. You prosecute the president's enemies like Jim Comey.
Girl, I play the Sims. I love the fucking Sims.
The federal agents who are murdering and brutalizing and terrorizing.
Girl, we ain't got to do nothing. You just got to use your streaming platform, and I'll use my streaming platform.
Firsthand.
Hold on, let me...
covered up the murder of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez.
We can link them, and then okay, I'm hearing myself now. That's good.
Instead of the ICE agent who murdered her, and you tried to cover up the murder of Alex Freddie by CBP agents. You bring fake charges against protesters like the Broadview Six and Marimar Martinez, whom your administration labeled a domestic terrorist. This is the Montessori teacher who lives in my district, while protecting thugs who terrorize us and DHS authority. That's what you do.
My game audio.
Protect and enable the criminals who are plundering our society and destroying what's left of democracy and the rule of law. Epstein accomplices, mass DHS thugs, corporate criminals, Tom Homan, Eric Adams, insurrectionists, the list goes on. And you talk about fighting crime, but you protect any criminal who helps you and Trump turn our country into
my capture card not even capturing that thing.
And after all that, nobody supports you. I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about conservative judges.
What's going on?
Condemning the rampant lawlessness at DOJ under your leadership. Your prosecutors are quitting in droves over being forced to prosecute low-level immigration cases, including in Chicagoland. Your MAGA base despises you because you're covering up the Epstein file, How ironic. And even your own boss has repeatedly complained to your staff about you, calling you weak and ineffective. Weak and ineffective. That's what Donald Trump thinks of you already. You will not win, however. Chicagoland rejects you. The American people reject you. Our communities have demonstrated our strength and resilience in the face of
That's
cold
interesting.
and cowardice. Democrats must impeach and remove lawless officials like you and Kristi Noem and impose accountability for every criminal action. But you can
Oh,
spare
is this
yourself
on? No, it's not
humiliation.
on, right?
Resign now and submit yourself to accountability by the American people. Mr. Chairman, before I yield back,
Can my face even show? Oh, well, there's my face. Okay.
for the record,
That's
this
cute.
Wall Street Journal
But
dated January
where
12,
is my capture
2026, and titled,
Hey,
Trump has
yards.
complained about Pam Bondi repeatedly to aides. Thank you, and I yield back.
Objection. Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Texas.
Okay, I'm gonna delete this and then try to do
Thank you,
another
Chairman.
one.
May I have 20 seconds, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Let's hear the opposition research.
Thank you. That's absolutely
this
right.
over.
That they're not running for, he's not running for office again because, well, I don't know why you're not running for office again, but after the filing deadline,
I'm not seeing nothing.
after the filing
crazy.
deadline, you publicly announced you would not run when your chief of staff, Patty Garcia, announced
Maybe
and
I'll
took your seat.
start
I
to
believe
sound
the
so.
matter
That
is
isn't a federal matter.
I don't know.
Investigate crimes.
This is a new one for me. I just was able to get
The gentleman from Texas.
And a little flexible. I appreciate the chairman. Madam Attorney General, am I correct that under your leadership, the
I
Department
can't
of
hear
Justice
this
has
either on
prosecuted
my-
cases of non-citizen voting? So it's false, as some of my Democratic colleagues have claimed, that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
I ask that today because we're voting on the Save
This
America
is a
Act
lie.
today to enact common sense policies controlling American citizens' vote in American elections and enact.
I'm
federal
still
voter
not
ID
seeing
laws.
anything. Okay, that's
But it's true, for example, that
crazy.
in just this month, a federal grand jury in Newark indicted two men with illegally voting in federal election and making false statements. Mohammed Mazammel and Mohammed Shakil
What if I do
were
this?
non-citizens at the time they registered to vote. It happens
do
regularly, and you're
anything?
prosecuting those
No.
crimes, correct?
Yes.
But does
Okay,
that
yeah,
prosecution
that's
of those
weird
criminals
as
overturn
fuck.
their previously cast votes?
That's all pending.
This adorable AI.
Why? Oh, it's always something.
2025. It
It's
provides real
always
companionship
something.
and emotional bonding without the vet bills, daily walks, or constant maintenance. My wife got one for my mom for Christmas, and at first we thought it looked kind of silly, but after seeing her reaction when she opened it, we could not believe the results. It's ended up being the most meaningful
We
gift.
can skip
But it does
that.
not overturn votes that they cast, right? So passing
Oh,
the Save
no,
America Act
Congressman.
would help deal with that problem.
Yes, Congressman.
Second question. As Attorney General, you're in charge of the executive
This
office
is
of immigration relief,
weird.
correct?
Yes, Congressman.
It's always something.
Case backlog to explode, correct?
Explode.
Does that sound about right that in September of 2020, 4 months before President Biden took office, there was a backlog of 1.5 million cases, but by the time President Biden left office, the backlog reached nearly 4.2 million cases?
It sounds about right, but I don't have the exact numbers.
It would be accurate to say that most individuals who file for asylum have a meritless or fraudulent claim?
Most. I don't have the numbers.
Oh, so does it sound correct that of the
Not
asylum
displaying
cases
any of the
adjudicated in FY
camera.
2023 under the Biden regime, that only 14% resulted in an asylum grant and only 12% in fiscal year 2024? Does that sound correct?
It sounds correct. I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers.
Could you get that information to us to
Yes,
verify
absolutely.
that
I'll get
data?
all
This
that
makes
information.
absolutely no
Under the
sense.
Trump
Like,
administration,
bro.
immigration judges complete an average of 65,000 cases per month, the highest average completion rate in at
Where
least
is
a
this
decade. Does
at?
that
Let
sound
me-
correct?
That sounds correct.
Ms. Bondi, how many new cases under EOIR received in fiscal year 2025
Yeah, I don't
have
where
you all
is
had?
it?
And of those, what percentage have been granted asylum? Do
Okay,
you know?
maybe I just.
I can try to get you those numbers. I thought I had those.
That'd be great, because my question is whether President Trump's decision to pause asylum in the wake of the shooting of a National Guardsman by an Afghani here in Washington, D.C., in the nation's capital, helped to stop the backlog in your office. Does that sound correct?
Yes, Congressman.
My point being that the leadership of this administration is ending the backlog, reducing the backlog, making sure that we don't have fraudulent asylum claims clogging it, and keeping Americans safe. Is that correct?
Yes, Congressman.
So a couple other quick questions on another important topic that has been raised by
And
both
it's still
colleagues on
not
both sides of
working.
the
I
aisle
don't
with
know
respect to
what's
the Epstein
going
case.
on.
A few questions. One, Jeffrey Epstein was charged in July 2019 for sex trafficking under the Trump administration in his first term. Is that correct?
Yes, Congressman.
And that Ghislaine Maxwell was charged in 2020 also under the Trump administration, correct?
Yes, Congressman.
So it is safe to say that the administration led on that issue and that there was silence in the previous administration. Is that correct?
Almost complete silence from everyone who's been trying to still talk about Epstein. They didn't say a word under the Biden administration. Nothing.
And I want to make one other point and then another question that is important. I want to make one observation, and that is that we've heard the information today, which is troubling, that Jane Doe's, that victims' information was made public and was unredacted in the files that were released on Friday. So my question is, some of us had argued when we were dealing with the discharge petition in Congress that when Congress inserted itself into the process, that we needed to be very careful to ensure that we were protecting victims. So a question that is both, I just want to make that clear that some of us were fighting for that here and we didn't get a chance to amend it or change it. So that was concerning. But a question a little more pointed, I have to say, is why, though, were the victims' names released that shouldn't have been? That there were names in the files, that these Jane Does, that their names shouldn't have been made public when there were some accusers whose names were redacted? That's question one. And question two was that Ghislaine Maxwell was put in jail for trafficking minors. Rightly so, and you properly said here at this table, you hope she dies in jail. Well, I want to know, will anyone besides her or Epstein, which I congratulate President Trump's previous administration and this Department of Justice for continuing all of that, but that they were indicted, but will anyone else be indicted and prosecuted under this, given the information that's in front of us? So two questions.
Thank you for letting me answer that. They didn't want to hear my answer on the other side. Yes, given the tight time frame of 30 days, I believe we got everything released within a little over 60 days. I'm talking as fast as I can. My time is up. We did the best we could immediately. If everyone's been coming to view the documents, if someone's name should not have been redacted, we're releasing it. If someone's name was redacted, we said right away, was not redacted and should have been, meaning a victim. We went back and redacted it. We're doing everything we can based on the tight time frame and over 3 million pages.
I'm gonna have to stop and then try to come. I don't know. Nothing changed. Like, what the fuck?
What was your second question?
About whether another individual will be indicted.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. And they never wanted to hear the answer to that. We have pending investigations in our office.
Time of the gentleman has expired. Unanimous consent request from the gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Thank you. I have several UCs as receipts. I'd like to have unanimous consent to introduce the National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, dated September 25th, 25.
Objection.